Hey there, and welcome to episode number 8 of Jovo Wednesday on Dabble Lab. This time we're going to talk about unit tests. Unit tests help you make sure that certain areas or units of your application work as expected. And this is also very relevant for voice apps. So when you're building an Alexa skill or Google action, that you can make sure if you change something there, that still everything like over there works as expected. And Jovo offers a Jovo test suite that helps you to build unit tests based on a JavaScript testing framework called Jest. And you can find everything about unit testing with Jovo in our docs/unit-testing. And this walks you through the process, but also, which is helpful since Jovo version 2, every voice app template with Jovo now comes with a unit testing template as well. So to dive right in, let's create a new Jovo project from our command line. To do that, you use Jovo new, and then let's call it unit testing demo. This will create the Hello World project and install all the npm dependencies. Okay, so let's dive right in and take a look at the folder structure. Open it in your code editor. Okay, so as you might already know, this is the typical Jovo folder structure. We have the language model here, with the node modules, we have the source folder, which is all about the app logic and execution. So this is later deployed to a cloud service. And then we also have a test folder with a sample test, and you can take a look here. So this is one test that works on both Alexa and Google Assistant, and I will walk you through this step by step. So to run the test, let's first run it. Open your terminal again and type in Jovo run. So this will start the development server, and then we can open a new tab and type in npm test, and this will run the unit test. Okay, and so the test passed. As you can see, we have 2 tests in total. So we have one for Alexa and we have one for Google Assistant. So should return a welcome message and ask for the name at launch. So if we take a look back at the code, we can find that here we have this for loop and define a new platform for both Alexa and Google Assistant. And then for each of those platforms, we create a new Jovo test suite and then have this one test group here for each of those platforms with only one test. And that's it. And so this is what's happening there. And so there's a few concepts that I will walk you through, which you can also find here. The basic concepts part, we have a conversation. So the conversation helps you to create responses based on requests. And so this can also later be used for multi-turn conversations as well. So one conversation can last not only for like one request and response, it can last like across sessions. What we do here is we create a launch request based on the Jovo test suite request builder. So for example, this is just a launch request. You can also take a look here. You can also create an intent request here. So for example, you could create a hello world intent. You could create a my name is intent named Joe, for example. And so after we have this request, we can create a response to this request by sending it to the conversation. So we are creating a request, using this request to send it to the conversation returns a response, and that's it. And then we can use this response to do certain checks. And so if this is an is-ask. So if this response to the launch request is, hello world, what's your name? Please tell me your name. And this is true, then the test passes. And so for example, if we change something like hi world, run the development server again, and run the test again, it fails. And it says, it shows you where it failed. So this isn't true, this returned false. And there's a lot of other stuff you can do here. So the is-ask is just one method. There's a whole bunch of helper methods for both request and response. And so, for example, you can use this request that was created from the request builder to do certain operations. So you can set a timestamp, change that. You can like change the user ID, make sure it's in either a new session or not, make sure it has an audio interface, for example. So this can be used to manipulate a request in a way that you want it. And then also the response. So what we're getting as a result from sending the request to the conversation, we're getting a response object here, which can also be used here. Like you can get the speech if you want to just check the speech or the reprompt. You can get this instead of using the isAsk method, for example. You can check if it has session data, if it should have the should end session tag, for example, and all of that. And that's it. And so this is how you can create a request, send it to the conversation, get the response, extract certain data or information from the response, and then afterwards check against something that you think should be true. Yeah, and there's a bunch of other stuff, and we can talk about this in a later episode, but this is how you can write your own unit tests with the Jovo framework for both Alexa skills and Google Actions. So let us know in the comments if you have any additional questions. If not, see you next time to Jovo Wednesday on Dabble app.